Hello you, welcome back. I obviously don't know when this video is gonna be up. It is the 29th I'm filming this. Hopefully I can get it done before 2024 ends. If not, I am sorry because I tried so hard. I hope you guys had a good holiday season. I've always wanted to do a what I read video for so long. I think I mapped out what I read in 2022 or like 21, and then I didn't finish it, and therefore the video has never been made. I don't know how long this video is gonna be, only because I read a lot of short books and mangas this year just so that I have enough books to fit in my goal. Goodreads, if you don't know what that is literally just a website that's book-based. Like, you get to follow authors, get to set a reading goal, talk with people, I guess. I never use it for that. I literally only use Goodreads to literally track down books I read that year, and I set my goal at the beginning of the year, but I didn't start reading until I believe April, and that's when I kind of started freaking fuck out. Thankfully though, I went above and beyond. I literally only wanted to read 10 books this year and I read 22, which is fucking crazy. 220%. I don't know if that's accurate. That's what it just showed. Before I continue, if I am looking that way, this is a script just to help me out. I don't really care. I think everybody reads scripts nowadays. I don't know. So some of these books will contain spoilers just because there are some thoughts that I wanted to share about the books. Obviously, I will mention on the screen where there's a spoiler and then to skip to what part. I know it's probably a lot of skipping. If you don't want to skip a lot of spoilers, maybe read the book before you come look at what I talk about. But if you don't care, then obviously enjoy the video. I hope you enjoy it anyways. Please, this is a no judgment zone. Okay, there are going to be a few books that I talk about on this list that I have been very debating on even putting in the video, but I feel like if I left it out, then it wouldn't be an honest 2024 reading list. No judgment zone. Thank you. Also, sorry if the summaries of these books or my thoughts are also all over the place or not as descriptive. I'm not really good on doing summaries on books, even though I read them. It slips my mind the second I'm done reading it. I'm gonna try though next year to write my thoughts down the second I finish it on Goodreads so that I can be better off for my year reading of 2025. I also apologize if I butcher any of these authors' names. Anyways, let's just get started. The first two I read this year is obviously Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Long Haul, and Old School by Jeff Kenny. I almost said John, I'm sorry. The Long Haul is Greg Heffrey and his family go on a road trip and face hard challenges. Like, there's a family that they keep going the same route as them and they keep running into them and it's just really fucking awkward. And then Old School is Greg has to deal with the town basically going electronic free, and then obviously with him being a kid and being around electronics, struggles with that. I've been a fan of Diary of a Wimpy Kid for a very long time. It's honestly something that I could knock out in a day, so it's like an easy read. I really enjoy the art style. Manny is the fucking cutest thing I've ever fucking seen. I will forever always love his little face. I love the storylines. I love how obviously each one is different, kind of laid out like a diary. I've never been a fan of the Dark Diaries. Never really caught my eye, and I think honestly they were made because I Remember Big Kid was becoming successful and kind of towards boys, so they had to make something popular towards girls. Therefore, I never read a Dark Diary, and I just like Remember Big Kid more. I rated both 5 out of 5. Next one is called Breathers by Jason Madison, and it's a dystopian world where the air you breathe is a virus, having you to wear a gas mask. It follows three characters. One is addicted to the mask fillers, and the other siblings are wondering if the air is deadly after all. Of the art style, the storyline is a little bit odd. Some parts I wondered where the story was going because of the odd parts. Spoilers. I can't remember the names, but it was the siblings. It was a boy and a girl. The sister not having to wear the gas mask because she's immune to the air is a little bit cliche, but the setting and the events that happen make up for it. The political side and people wondering if it is fake or if it's just a big money scam was a nice touch. I feel like most books have that aspect, but I feel like it was nicely put in there. I rated it a 4 out of 5 because it was okay. Next book I read was The Lost Days, which is Emily the Strange series number 1 by Roger Rager. It's about this girl who finds herself in an unknown town, not knowing anything about herself or how she got there. Along the way, she finds clues and friends that help her out. I honestly didn't know this was a series until a few years ago when one of my YouTubers, Toxic Tears, she mentioned it in one of her videos. I loved the cover. A really nice like gothic feel, and I was like, this might be something I'm into, so I decided to check it out. I just fucking ow. I always thought it was for kids, but I was like, fuck it. I literally read Diary of a Baby Kid. I couldn't remember. I know there is pictures in the book, but I can't remember if the pictures in the book bothered me or if I thought they were a nice touch. I know I had a certain feeling about the pictures. Emily is honestly so funny and so relatable at times, and I love her style and her personality. I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. Next one that I read was Scott Pilgrim's Precious Little Life. This is number 1 in the Scott Pilgrim comic series by Brian Lee O'Malley. I feel like everybody knows what Scott Pilgrim is, but if you don't, it's about this boy named Scott who is 23. He's dating a high school girl, which nowadays I feel like wouldn't fucking fly. He's in a band and everything is great. until he meets this charming girl and falls for her, finding out the truth about her and her evil exes. I really like the movie. When I did find out it was a comic book series like years ago, it was always one of those things that was on the list. I had to read. I was like, fuck it, let's open the door and put my foot in. Basically how I feel with any of these books that are in a series. I love the art style. I love comic books that have extras in the back, and this one did. Brian, who wrote and also drew, I couldn't remember that word for a second, he showed his ideas, and I believe some of the ideas that he showed in the back were actually based off of people that he actually knew I had seen before. I thought that was pretty cool. I'm not one to compare movies and books. They did not put the songs from the comics into the movie. They specially made songs for the movies, which I thought was kind of... Love the story. I love Scott and Ramona. Next one I read is Stitches by Hiro Katsuhira. I know I butchered that and I'm so sorry. This is basically a book about a few short horror stories or true stories. That's what Goodreads said. I'm not 100% sure. I've seen this book at Barnes & Noble's a shit ton. I believe it was always sealed, which means that it's pretty bad. Not for younger kids. I never really took an interest in it, but I decided to give it a try because I saw it on Libby. They weren't really scary stories, in my opinion. They were actually kind of boring. I thought one story would go one way and then it went completely other way, and that way it went down just completely ruined the whole story for me. It was a decent read. I would definitely keep my door open to the author. I'm just not a fan of this one. I love the art style by Junie Teo, and I don't think I rated this one. Next one that I read, Thea, Stilton and the Dragon's Code, which is #1 in Thea's in the series by Thea Stilton. I couldn't find an author on Goodreads. Elizabella Damie was on the website, which I didn't even know they had one. It's basically Geronimo's sister goes back to college to teach, uncovering a mystery. I grew up reading Geronimo's books, and I didn't know or remember that he even had a sister. I saw his books pop up on Libby, and I think I saw this one soon after. I always enjoy the art style, the little pop-up words and different fonts and colors. The mailman in the story is a little bit too mean, but so have all my encounters with actual mailmen. I couldn't for the life of me though keep the storyline straight. Maybe it's because I took breaks while I was reading the other book. When I was taking breaks from the other book, I was reading this. Either way, I know it's a little cliche kids books. Next one, Priest by Sierra Simone. A priest loses sight of God when he meets a beautiful woman. Basically, easy sum up. I was testing the waters because obviously this is a smut book. I never read these types of books before except for Wattpad, and I want to see what the hype is about since I actually know people who read these books. I didn't like it. I didn't see it. I didn't get it. I just felt uncomfortable the entire time reading this. And I'm not judging anybody who reads these type of books. Obviously, like, don't want to yuck your yum. Just me personally, I don't think I could read another one of these books again. I don't know the specific term or if there's even a term to this. I am one to put myself inside usually the female lead character of a book, and I'm thankful that my brain would not let me do that with this book. I'm in a healthy relationship, and reading this made me feel pretty bad. Like, this wasn't something I should be reading. Spoilers. If you read this, you know the love interest name is Sterling, which is my man's name. That really freaked me out. I also tried very hard not to root for him because he was a fucking asshole in this book, and a fucking man whore. And also this book is based in Kansas City, which is like 45 minutes from where I live. Very hard to think that this book wasn't attacking me, and I low-key didn't want to share this read with you guys because I feel like you guys would attack me. Let's just move on. I won't read another book again. Let's just Wattpad, staying close to my roots. Next one that I am... The Umbrella Academy Volume 1, Apocalypse 3 by Gerald and Gabriel Ba. He does some of the artwork in that too. If you don't know what the book is about, or if you haven't seen the show because it is a Netflix original show, 43 children were born in one day without the mothers being pregnant or even aware that they were pregnant, and a wealthy billionaire adopts 7 of the 43 children and raises them as superheroes. This specific comic is about the billionaire that adopts the kids. He dies and basically is creating a union of the siblings, and it leads to one of them trying to end the world because the family hates her. I love it. I love Gerald Way. I love the comics. I love the show. I can't describe how much I fucking love these comics. Anything Umbrella Academy. I can't. I'm all on board. My script, I said I want the comics. I was actually gifted all 3 comics for Christmas by my lovely man. This is only one because it's the one I read. I do want the show on DVD though, and I do want an umbrella tattoo. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. I hate the way the show ended. I'm not even gonna fucking talk about that. I didn't have Netflix because I got rid of it after I got Supernatural on DVD, the whole set. But that didn't stop me from not watching last season. Just saying. I think I only rated it a 4. More so on the show's end because the show just took some of the aspects of every comic and then turned it and made it their own. There was a lot of stuff in the first season of the Umbrella Academy that's not in this. And most of the stuff that's in this is not in the first season. I know it says based on the comics, so it's like loosely based. It's not really the comics' fault, obviously. Amazing storyline. Love the art style by Gabriel Ba and Gerald Way. And I'm excited to read the other comics. Next one I read, The Silver Eyes, which is #1 in one of the FNAF series, and that's by Scott Cawthon. Or Cawthorn. Sorry. I always say Cawthon. That's not it. This girl, Charlotte, returns home on the anniversary of one of her best friend's death. She meets up with the rest of her old gang and they go and explore the old Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, all while hiding a big secret from her friends. Oh, hands down, 5 out of 5 reading. I am very biased. I love Five Nights at Freddy's. Anything. I loved it since it literally came out in 2014. I love how Scott always has a trick up his sleeve. He adds lore and connects the lore every single time. It doesn't matter if it's in the books, in the movies, or even in the games. He always just pulls it out of somewhere and just... I love it. And that's one of the reasons why I love these games, because the lore is always getting spiced up. There were a few moments in the book where pages repeated themselves. Some actions were repeated. For example, the main character gets out of her car twice. She gets out of the car and then a few sentences later she gets out of the car again without her getting back in. So I don't know if that was like an editor mistake. I was looking at the graphic novel while I was reading this book just because I wanted a better layout of Freddy's. So I guess you can say I read the graphic novel, but I don't classify it as a day because I was literally just skimming through the pages. This one, another no judgment zone. This is called BL Metamorphosis Volume 1. An elderly woman who teaches calligraphy finds a boys love manga in a bookstore, not knowing what it is. But she likes the manga, even returns to the bookstore to get more, and meets a younger girl who works at the bookstore with the same interest and soon become friends. I was scared to share this because of the storyline, but after reading some of the reviews on Goodreads, a lot of people thought it was cute, and I feel like my feelings are shared with this one guy named Tim on Goodreads. Tim wrote, "So a friend of mine kept telling me to read it. She described it as the most wholesome slice of life series I've ever read. And after reading it, I can't actually disagree. This is one of those mangas that honestly, based solely on description, I would not think would work. It actually somehow manages to not only pull it off, but does so with just a quiet grace. Again, even typed in the description, I feel like this wouldn't work, or that it should be a colossal joke. I mean, the plot is essentially the friendship between a teenage girl and a 75-year-old woman formed over a love of BL comics. That said, the artist / writer does not treat this like a joke. There's humor, but neither character is mocked for who they are. Instead, they are led to sympathize with both of them due to the loneliness. The elderly woman lost her husband. She doesn't have her children with her, and then the girl, she's just really awkward and shy. Those coming for actual BL material will probably be disappointed, and he's correct because there is nothing graphic shown. I feel like that explains it pretty well. 4 out of 5 rating, just based on the storyline. I think it's pretty cute. This one is Catboy by Benji Nate. A girl's cat turns into a human Catboy after she wished upon a shooting star. They go through life and she teaches the cat how to act and stuff. 4 out of 5. I previewed this book at first, rented it, forgot about it, had to return it, and then rented it again because I have to finish every book I read. It is a very cute manga and I love the art style. Henry being a cat learning human things is just very funny. It wasn't until after I was writing this video that is actually based on a website TV series. I'm not 100% sure, which it does make a lot of sense because there are a few pages in the manga I think reference the TV series, because when I was reading it, I was kind of a little confused. Next one is called Triangle by Mac Barnett, and it's basically about a triangle trying to play a prank on a square, or so he thinks. That's literally so vague, but that's literally what it's about. It's around 46 pages. It is the shortest book that I've read this year according to Goodreads. It is a very cute story. It is a simple read. It is like a storybook, lots of pictures, an actual like read it to young kids or animals if they'll pay attention. And I thought it looked cute and I was like, why not? So 4 out of 5. It is pretty cute. There is another book called Square, and then there is, I think the third one's called Circle. Next one is GirlFIEND in Paris, a bloodthirsty bedtime story by Piano Brothers. A vampire and a human boyfriend hunts and kills animals. Not animals, criminals. Oh my god, I don't think I would be fucking reading it if they killed animals. And one day, while shooting a criminal, she finds out the criminal that she just ate kidnapped a little girl. Wanting to save her life, the vampire and her boyfriend set off to find the girl and bring her home. 4 out of 5 rating. It is told in a poetic tone, and I really like that. You don't see a lot of stories nowadays, or even at all, that have a poetic tone unless it's poetry. The art is extremely gorgeous, and the whole time reading this I just thought of how beautiful this would be if it was a movie or even a live action. I don't want to say too much of a live action because I know live action fucking ruins everything, but I feel like this would be a really good animated TV show or movie. There's another comic that comes before this, but I can't find it anywhere. It wasn't in my library or even on the Libby app. I didn't know it came before this one until after I read this one, so I was just flipping through the back and it was, oh, Catch the Prequel. Great, I didn't fucking know that because Libby didn't even say this was a sequel. So next one, Gerald's Game by Stephen King. On a romantic getaway, Jesse and Gerald decide to play a game, leaving her fighting for her life and costing him his. Or in other words, she's handcuffed to the fucking bed. She doesn't want to fucking play this sexual game and kick Gerald and he dies, and now she's literally having to fucking survive. If you're new here, I'm a big Stephen King fan. I saw the movie on Netflix when it came out and I loved it. Anything Stephen King's name on it, I give it a shot and I always end up loving it. I love Stephen's writing, and this book was honestly no different. Spoilers, the part where she had to cut her hand open to get it out of the handcuffs, I was so fucking crazy. I feel like I have a strong stomach, but the way that Stephen writes gruesome shit, it gets, it just, I don't know. The creature's introduction, when she first saw him in the room, was absolutely fucking chilling. Like, more chilling than fucking seeing it on TV. I would be careful though if you are reading this and you are easily turned away from essay. Jessie is a survivor and she does go through the emotions of what happened while she is tied to the bed. Read warnings if you need to. But 5 out of 5. I may be biased because obviously I'm a big Stephen King fan. Next one is Cat Plays Gamer Volume 1. An office worker who is a very heavy gamer and knows nothing about cats decides to take in a stray cat. It's a really cute story. It does show perspectives from both the girl and the cat on certain things. So the girl will be like freaking out about something, and then we'll cut to the cat and a few pages later and the cat's just like that. Like, what is she doing? Is she okay? 4 out of 5. There are other volumes. I don't know if or when I will get to them. Next one's called William with ones instead of eyes, and that is by Madison Coley. Henry, who has agoraphobia, keeps away in his lab from his pregnant wife, Lily, and has created an AI system inside the home. Lily decides to bring work friends over to meet Henry and William when things go wrong. I saw this book on Libby actually a couple months before it was even published. I added to my read list so fast. I'm totally against AI, unless this goes me. But there's also something about this book, or the cover, because the cover is absolutely fabulous in my opinion. It just made me want to read it. A lot of events happen in the book that are a little repetitive. Lily going around in circles around the house kind of makes sense if you read it. Spoilers, because I really had a lot. The plot twist of Henry actually himself being an AI made by Lily, wasn't expecting that, but it clicks everything into place about Henry's personality. He's just like seems a little distant. A human brain will set off alarms if you see your wife with somebody else being close and like kind of getting a cheating feel. Henry's brain didn't fucking do that. Henry, being an AI who makes an AI, is very clever, and I feel like it needed to be put in the book for the book to actually go anywhere. But why did the creature William/Henry guy leave Lily in the house? Where is he going to? Is he either Henry or William or neither? Would Lily even survive in the fucking house before she gives birth, or will she fucking die in there? If AI is out of the house, why can't she leave? Is it still controlling the house even though it's out? Nonetheless though, it was actually pretty good. I was trying to stay up reading it, to return it to the library. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep, and then the fucking plot twist literally made me stay up and finish the whole book. Next one is Death Note Volume 9. Mikey's still trying to figure out how to make it Kira's world, and he's challenged when Nier and Milo are working to break the task force to expose Kira. I forget every single time I read these mangas. I don't know if this is considered spoilers, that L is dead. I think it's because my brain is like so wired with Elle and Light being the two main characters. There were a few pages that repeat itself in the storyline, but I think that's due to the translations. I enjoy the art, I enjoy the storyline nonetheless. 5 out of 5. I'm biased. I absolutely love this series. It will always have a special place in my heart. The Girl from the Other Side, Volume 1 by Nagabi. I hope that. I'm sorry if I butchered that. So in this world, there are two kingdoms. One is called the Outside that holds evil and it holds the monsters, and then there's a kingdom called Inside where it's basically humans live safely from the monsters. The story follows this young girl who lives with a monster on the outside and they're just living day to day. This is another series that caught my eye at Barnes & Noble, and I always thought the cover was cute. How the fuck could you not think it's cute? And it was just something that I thought I would enjoy, and I'm glad I did. It was another read that I kept to myself that I would get around to, and I just never fucking did. 5 out of 5 reading. The ending spoilers. The other monster that got in and touched the little girl's face, like plot twist, but like I feel like that opens the door to so much. So I feel like that also had to be done. But nonetheless, it was so fucking cute and I loved it. And it was actually the last book I read for 2024. These next books though are going to be a little out of order just because I have read them already years and years ago and just decided to reread it. And Goodreads also has a problem with fucking up your books. It wouldn't put them in order because I already read 2 of them and then I already started reading one, and when I started reread it again, I was also fucked up. Reread of the originals by Cat Patrick. 3 triplets are forced to live a life as one person, uncovering a dark secret about the true identity and their mom. Not part of the Vampire Diaries series. I learned that the hard way. I read it back in 2014 or 2015. I don't know. I was just hooked from the beginning. I wanted to do a separate video on this one to actually do like a book review. That should be up hopefully sometime within the near future, so I'm not really gonna talk too much on it. It was rumored to be a movie, but that was many years ago. I would be able to see it, but I prefer books over movie adaptation. There is a few awkward parts and some page fillers is what I call them. Random shit put in the books to just fill it up and add more pages. But overall, good story. I love the ending. 5 out of 5. Still want to say it's one of my favorite books. I don't know if it's like my top favorite, but if I were to ask what my favorite book is, I would probably mention this. Another read is Cloaked by Alex Finn. A poor shoemaker named Johnny gets the revenge of a lifetime when a princess shows up asking him to save her brother who got turned into a frog. I read this back in 2014. I like most of the storyline, the fairy tale twist, but it's also like modern. Fairy tales aren't really my thing. I usually steer away from that. I think this is the only book that I can actually deal with that is a fairy tale or that has certain fairy tale aspects. Spoilers. It is very easy to find out that Johnny's dad is actually the fox. And also how his mom finds out was a little bit odd. The dad also lacks people skills, which I understand because if he's a fox for so many years. But like, he really lacks sympathy. Another thing I kept thinking about was Johnny and Nora's relationship. The book is from Johnny's POV and it does go over a lot about how he doesn't like her in that way. At times he's trying to tell himself, oh, she's not pretty, or no, she's not that pretty. Like how she acts throws him off. But by the end of the book, he realizes that he does have feelings for her. And when they start dating, it's just casual. There's a scene where Johnny is talking to Nora, the princess and the prince, and that's when Nora and Johnny decide that they're gonna start dating. I think, but don't quote because I don't actually physically have the book anymore, admits that the princess is more prettier than her right in front of her. It sounds like Nora is his last option, but he can get anybody he wants. I could be wrong, that's just honestly how I feel. I think that's even kind of how I felt a little bit when I did read this in 2014, but I was 13 years old, so I don't fucking remember. Regardless, 5 out of 5. And last but not least, Hidden Bodies. This is number 2 in the U series by Caroline Kepnes. Joe Goldberg goes to LA, and at first he's there to find an ex. He decides to leave his past behind as he finds a new love of his life, but will his past stay hidden forever? This is also a Netflix show. I haven't seen it. I don't want to because based off of what my sister has watched, and she also read the first one, I think it's nothing close. I'm steering away. I don't even want to bother. Like I mentioned before, I did start reading this years ago, but I was using my sister's book at the time, and when I moved, book had to be left behind, and I just put it on the back burner. Not reading them back to back has made them kind of hard to remember a lot of stuff that has happened. I had to start over because when I picked up the place that I left off on, I had no recollection of what even happened. But I really enjoy the series. Spoilers! His new girlfriend, Love, why is she so chill about him being a serial killer? I would freak the fuck out. And she took it like it was the chillest news ever. I also hated the movie Boots and Puppies is what they called it, and the awkward sex scenes between Love and the other guy friend that she likes. Love was really comfortable doing these scenes with a guy on film despite Joe literally telling her, hey, I'm uncomfortable, or hey, I don't want you to do this. Oh no, it's fine. Like, boundaries? Dude. I really do like the subtle killings that Joe does. Delilah was a chill one. I don't know. I really just like that. That sounds fucking crazy. 4 to 5 ratings just because there were scenes in the book that made me question and wonder, but overall it was not bad. Most of the reviews on Goodreads for this book are 1 stars just because there's a lot of people complaining about romanticizing serial killers. Like, honey, this is the 2nd book. You could have stopped at the 1st. Yeah, I don't know what they expected. And that was it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know out of this list what books you've read, if you like them, what you want to read, your thoughts about them, or any books that you haven't read and are interested in reading. I hope I did a good summary for them. If not, I'm sorry. I'm not really active on Goodreads, and I don't know if a lot of people use Goodreads, but you can follow me there if you want. I'll link it somewhere if you want to. I don't really post reviews on there either because I really want to do these types of videos. But if you want to see like the status of the books I read before the video comes out at the end of the year, then you can go ahead and follow me. If you want to see more book videos like this or book reviews, subscribe. I'm really not sure when I'll get onto them, but it is something that I do want to. You can follow my socials too to keep an eye out for new videos or announcements or music releases. Just go follow if you want. The first link in the description also is my link tree, which is also just a faster way to get to socials if you want to do that instead of scrolling. I'm sorry if my constant looking and squinting at the screen was really annoying. I can't see. I'm fucking blind. I don't have my glasses on, so I apologize if most of the eye contact is that way instead of that way. And I will see you next time. Stay happy, stay healthy, enjoy the new year. Shit's gonna get crazy, but you got this.